Welcome to Start at Frame 1. Hello, beautiful people of the World Wide Web. We are live here at Start at Frame 1. My name is Andy and I welcome you back to the stream. I have been absent the last week. I want to apologize for no further information on the social networks. Life has been crazy, and yeah, I haven't been able to stream, as sometimes things get weird, but we are back. And first of all, thanks a lot for Jester Music Lab for the music you were listening in the intro. And why not jump directly into our software here in Krita before I start doing stuff that you won't see, as it sometimes happens. All right. So actually there is no plan for today, as I decided just today that I will be making some time for the stream without any preparations so far. And we could start off with a little bit of a warm-up drawing, as we've done in previous episodes. And I just want to check, to be honest, maybe let's do a character. Let's try a character or whatever. It seems. Oh no, let's do an experiment. I was thinking about a improv animation, and I would like to. I thought maybe we could start off with just a simple bouncing ball, as we all already mentioned how important the bouncing ball is, and never really animated the bouncing ball. So I thought we could do that and then see, maybe we could add elements to the bouncing ball and see where this goes, and get a little bit of warm up. Hey John, how are you? Yeah, good to see you back as well. Thanks for joining today. I'm really sorry I wasn't able to do any streams last week. but we are back, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen today. How are you? How have you been? How's everything going with your drawing tablet? Been working on any cool stuff lately? Trying to get my onion skin working here. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, let's try. So I'm gonna talk you through what I'm doing here right now. So this is probably our highest position, and then we're gonna get another keyframe here. This would be our other extreme. So here we're gonna feel the floor, and it's really squashed here. And let's add a few frames in here. Okay. I'm gonna do a little what's gonna be in, we're gonna see in between. So between the two extreme poses, we're gonna have our bouncing ball pretty stretched here. All right, so messing with brushes. Are you still working with Gritta? Do you use, what kind of brushes? Are you going through like the built-in brushes, or do you have any additional brushes that you can recommend? Like I never did any research on brushes. Like on Photoshop, I started to use the Kyle Webster brushes as everybody was talking about them, and I think I got stuck with, like, I have them loaded in Photoshop and basically only use in general, I only use the pencil that comes with the brush set. And I'm really bad with the organization of my brushes. I've never really understood it, how you save them or save changes. Never really had a look into it because I mostly, yeah, just go with the normal brushes. Okay, and then let's animate first on 4s, which means every drawing stands 4 frames. And let's copy this one just to have a reference here. We're gonna get another in between. So you see just the basic, very simple bouncing ball here. So we want to see the animation till frame 16. So this is our very simple bouncing ball with already the principle of squash and stretch applied. And now let's use this as the timing. And now I want to get some in-betweens and work with spacing, which means I could now just draw in a very simple in-between here, in between that, but I would like to be the ball, to have the ball closer to the next frame and make the movement, slow the movement down. And maybe let's see. I'm not sure. Maybe I even don't want this in between that I'm drawing right now. But if I put it in there, I really want this to be already close to the. Now let's see. So here, this in between, I want the ball already hit the floor. So this one is basically just an additional to slow down the impact. So let's see how this. And the idea is to keep this in between. I don't know if you can see the onion skin here. I bring it very high so you can see them. Okay, you do your own brushes. That's interesting. Do you lose kind of do you play around with the settings, or do you actually scan like I don't know, textures on material, like real brushes or real pens on paper and scan them? I saw people doing that, which seems interesting. But all right, yeah, you all right, cool. Sweet. So you're totally into your tablet, I see. Okay, so the idea here is to really get, if you have a look at all those 5 frames, you can see what the spacing, how I put the spacing in order to slow down the movements. So here you see those 2 frames are fairly close together, which means within the same amount of time, as you see here, every drawing is now 2 frames long. The ball only falls a very little amount, as you can see here. Only falls a little amount, or only passes a little distance, and then from this ball to that ball, there's quite a lot of spacing, and that's gonna give the sensation of speed. So it's gonna look very fast. And I just want him to speed up. When he's on the highest point, he starts to fall down and then really gets faster. We hit the floor. We only have a slight variation here compared to this variation here, and here we only squash it a little bit more. And maybe I want to squash it actually a little bit further. Let's see. So now what we get is we have actually 3 images from the ball as he lands, squash, squash. So he takes up energy and then bam, bounces up very quickly, as you see the difference here on the position. So there's the spacing is quite high or far apart, and then before it hits the highest point, I want the ball fairly close to the final position, which is going to give us the sensation of an easy in. So he eases into the final position. So let's see. So this is a bouncing ball exercise, which you can play around. Right now we have a lot of frames actually on the movement when the ball hits the floor. If we want to get a little bit of an experiment here, let's duplicate and get rid of maybe this one. So we have one frame less. So now here when he hits the floor, it's 1, 2. Okay. So 1, 2, and then he goes up. Let's see how this looks. So you see he bounces off faster than the other one. Maybe we can take this one and move it. Let's see, transform mask. This is the weird thing Krita wants us to do too. So here you have the difference between those two balls. So you see this one takes up a little bit more energy before he bounces up. This one bounces off faster, and that's just because we have here an additional drawing on the floor where he squashes a little bit more. Okay. So now my idea was to build on top of that animation. Let's slow the animation down, which I can do by just duplicate the time each drawing is going to be visible. The spacing for now stays the same. Now we just change the time, and I want to bring it back to the center here. And so it's really, why is it? This is frame 31, isn't it? And I tell him I want to get a Okay, now it works. But the replay sucks. I don't know why. And Krita is not reacting. Oh, dude. Honestly, So now the replay seems all right. Let me make sure. As you see, I have the project open that we worked on before, which is still not finished. Could continue working on that one. Let's save it here. So if you're watching and you're not familiar with Krita, Krita has still a lot of bugs to fix, but it's for free. So there's little room for complaining here. Yes. If you want a more stable software, pay for it. Okay, I'm gonna reopen. And oh, I did some anatomy studies this weekend, and I really dove in. So now I got obsessed with detailed information that will never be applied if I animate in any way a human figure, but I figured yeah, it is so it's just because it's so interesting anatomy that I kind of got lost here, and I did as well some torso studies here, and I started with the back, which is a little bit scarier because I feel like the muscles on the back are a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's just not that I have this posture here, but it feels like as you don't used to normally you see your back, maybe it's more intimidating to get the muscles on the back. And yeah, but I started off to get into more anatomy, and yeah, lately I'm obsessed with the leg. And here's another thing Krita does: it opens my files twice, which is also a weird thing. So now you see what I've done. Didn't do too much since our last stream, but thing I do whenever I get some time off is anatomy. And I don't know, here it feels like now it's replay. The replay is all right, but then again, it's not. Like on this position up here, it stands quite long. Now reduce the playback time. Is this working? Oh, Greta, you disappoint me. Looks like you, Sean. Well, then you always have, like, you need this mirror in front of you for your studies, and you're good to go. What I find it super interesting to now see the muscles, and it makes so much sense. Obviously, it makes so much sense where the muscles are, and it's pretty. I find it fascinating thinking about what's going on with every movement we are doing. Okay, I don't know if I'm mistaken here, but yeah, he gets stuck on the on the last frame. Maybe we just ignore that for now. But it's definitely annoying. Get rid of this frame. And we could add in-betweens, but I don't think so. Let's add other elements to it. We could, I don't know, I feel kind of... What could we add to this bouncing ball? I want to add in a center line. Okay, now this is also a pretty weird thing going on in Krita, because I had to move it with this transform layer here. Now, when I draw, I don't know. So just wanted to add in this here. So maybe we can work with that. Okay, now we have a little bit more of a perspective here, and our volume looks more... Now we have volume actually. It's more three-dimensional. Okay, so what we could add in... Let's add in some eyes, weird eyes. Maybe like so. Or we do as well. I think I want the pupils to be... Do you call them pupils? Aren't pupils like attendees in the class? So here we could do a stretch on the eyes, because I want this to be a secondary animation here. So those are stretched because the ball falls first, but the weight of the eyes, it drags behind, so they are stretched out. here even more. And let's see how far we can push that. And now I'm not really sure. We could already squash the eyes here as so. But we could also leave it still like dragging behind. I would say the impact of having them already squashed here would be stronger. So we squash it a little more. And here they would be still squashed because the whole body pushes the eyes up. But you get the mass of the eyes. So he put the body push, or the volume pushes from beneath. Maybe we could get those eyes like so we feel this whole mass here is coming from beneath. Here, probably still a little bit. Let's see. So you see the secondary animation, how those eyes are gonna be dragged behind the body, which is pretty nice. Okay. Now I feel like I don't want to have a bouncing head. We should add in some volume for the body, I would say. So those are the eyes. Let's call this the body. And now let's see. Kind of a body do we want to give him? Let's make it a square. just for the practice sake. So the head is a ball. Get in another kind of a volume. So if I would actually animate kind of a realistic body shape, I would probably first animate kind of this volume. Let's see. Well, why not? Such obsession with anatomy lately, why not try to bring in some of this? So I have no idea what that character would look like afterwards, but maybe we can figure it out on the run. So let's draw this through just to make sure we have everything aligned. So now here, want to get my onion skin on that layer now. So as the with the next frame, the head is getting down here. So I want the body already be further down. Like the body already starts to stretch. So I would need it a little bit more. So let's see, would be a little bit more narrow as it stretches here. Let's push this a little bit to get the more obvious effect. And no, so this is basically this kind of the chest, and we're gonna stretch as well the lower part, which would be, so this would be like the rib cage, and this is maybe the belly. Want this a little bit more curved, so it looks like it's also dragging behind. Okay, now I don't know if we're gonna reach the end of our document, of our canvas here. Now here it would be completely stretched. do this a little bit more. And now comes this squash part. Okay. I think I'll leave it here on this position and gonna squash it further down here. And I suppose here it would already start, the body would already start to push up. Let's see. Now suddenly it doesn't. This probably doesn't work. Now let's see. This would be our image here. So you would bring just going to do a quick test. Doesn't make sense that the head is now stretched as well. So now we have to change a little bit the shape of the head, because now there are different forces going on with the body beneath the head. Beginning, we were just thinking about a plain object where the head is bouncing off, but now we suddenly have a moving object that's pushing the head up. So the head is actually not bouncing off of a static object. So this moving object is pushing the head up, and therefore we don't have any stretch going on at that moment. It's gonna it will happen the same way as the eyes are squashed here. You see, although it's an up movement, in this drawing, the head is pushing the eyes up. That's why they're still squashed. And the same thing applies now as we on the head, as we have this body mass coming from beneath. So yeah, let me get this very quickly done in a separate layer here, because I feel so. I actually want to treat the chest and the belly separately. So let's get rid of, let's create a new one. Basically, we're gonna have our belly. On top of our belly, we have our chest. So let's say this is our highest point. This up. And now things start to move down. The force the object that makes everything move would be basically the belly, I would say. No, not. Let's bring in kind of a pelvis shape as well, because that would actually be the object where the force is coming from, as the legs are attached. So okay, let's see. So now our pelvis would start to move downwards, which means it would drag our belly with it. And thinking about a loop already, our chest would be still moving in the opposite direction, as we were just coming from beneath. So So now you see, so the pelvis thus starts off with the movement. So here we are kind of in a neutral spot. The whole volumes, they came from beneath. Just imagine like they were coming from down here, and now they're at their highest point, some kind of a neutral position. Then this starts to move down. Here we also have a down movement, and here we have kind of a, this one gets stretched because as everything came from beneath, this part wants to continue his way up, while the part down here already starts the down movement. And now the part up here, the chest, starts to move downward as well. If this makes any sense. Still not sure if we're gonna bring this home correctly. And now it could be kind of the lowest point here. Pelvis. So this gets squashed. The part of the belly would also be squashed. And the chest as well. Now pelvis starts off with the up movement. But the belly the mass of the belly still resists. So you have this force coming from beneath, then from up here you still have maybe even the chest trying to push further down, as it still has the energy coming from there. I want to copy our initial pose to see where we have to get to make this loop. Pelvis, here comes belly. Okay, so this is very quick. It's too fast, so let's slow this down. And I think that is working. There could be maybe a walk cycle, a very bouncy one. Looks there's definitely some stuff we would have to fix. We would have to fix first, but how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 poses. I don't know, I'm not really sure how the legs would be attached to this one, depending on the, like I feel here our volume is at its lowest point and it starts to push up. So here could probably be like the down pose, which would mean our, well, we have quite some perspective going on here. Again, let's see if I can handle it. So maybe something like this. And so here we would kind of get our pass position where this leg stretches out. This leg is coming to the front. This would be our up position. where the heel is already, yes, maybe that's too much heel lift. Let's see. And then we basically would be, yeah, this doesn't line up with a basic walk cycle, I suppose. So let's see what we can. Hmm. Interesting. I have no idea what this walk cycle actually will look like. I feel like this could be our contact pose. Let's bring in some more onion skins. So now this is off the book and absolutely out of what I've learned so far. Because obviously we only have one step here. Like the body, the body volume was already, we were able to loop this like so. But once we put in the legs, we actually need twice the amount of frames, because we need 2 steps. See here what comes in here. So the leg would already be on the floor. Maybe it's a little bit more relaxed, not. No. To get rid of some skin here, onion skin. So definitely not the best way to approach a walk cycle, I suppose. Because you should first figure out your poses, as we did in previous streams. Okay, that works. maybe first you want to experiment just with some stick figures. So now what? Kind of confused here now. So here we would need a super stretched leg with the heel up high. This one. Which means on this here, well, now we get some foreshortening going on, which is still very scary. Let's see. So this stream definitely is an episode how not to animate the walk cycle, I suppose. Okay, now we would want to have until 47. So see, now we have the first step. Okay. So, well, this will be our first draft. We could then later on really get rid of all the problems we have in there. Basically now this is those are my loop poses. And from here on now I just have to check, okay, So here we have kind of a contact pose, which means both legs and then we get a let's get with this one because this is gonna be the down pose. Down pose, normally you have both legs are bent and the weight lies on both legs, so we definitely want to have this in mind. This pose just like had just before didn't really feel stable. Okay, now let's get in here a semi-bent we get after that. Okay, this is already kind of a pass position where we have this leg basically stretched out and the weight of the body lies on top of it because this leg starts to move to the front. Maybe we have it still a little bit like see, I need this one as a reference because oop. So here the heel should be lifted slightly. Okay. So by doing the walk cycle like this, I have basically nothing, no control over the sensation of the weight. That's at least my sensation here, my impression. But it works. The walk cycle. We'll see. Okay, these are now the legs. Let's get in some arms. And right now, I really don't think too much about the design. I'm really only interested in how to resolve the whole work cycle. Okay, so this is gonna be I want to start here because this is kind of a contact pose where which I'm familiar with. So but let's do kind of design. Let's get him some more like a muscular muscle. So this one comes to the front. This would be the hand. Here. All that. Let's get this silenced. All right. So here we go. A forearm. So now this is our hand. I do this now with the simple shape, so I want to bring in this foreshortening a little bit. Does this work? Kind of, yeah. So this is a very, very, very weird design here. Okay, we're gonna push here. We're gonna get even further. Here we start to move. Let's see. So here I'm going to break the joins. This one. Okay, now this arm is not really how I would want it to be. No, still trying to find the poses to orient myself. Okay, so this is gonna be again the contact pose and the contact pose. Forearm. Nope. Get a little bit more opacity on the how's that looking so far? Well, actually it doesn't look too bad. And wait. Okay. Mhm. Okay, here the hands should already start their movement backwards. The arms, sorry. And kind of feel like we changed the size of the arms during the process here. Gonna see that in a second. Getting really messy here with the onion skin. Well, for a first draft, it's not too bad. But actually, I started to like the walk cycle. It looks quite relaxed. Although the whole body shape is kind of all over the place. Maybe it's a good start as a guide, and from there on work the proportions and as well. I maybe we could get a little bit more of a like we worked with a already with a quite developed chest shape or volume. The arms look quite muscular. Maybe we could do that as well for the legs to create kind of a character here. But um, I think we saved it. Looked kind of messy, but I think we got something here. Now, what's next? Let's see what we can do now with the head. And I suppose I'm not really into the X sheets, I think they're called, where where the timing is marked. But that probably would be a good thing to try. Because if you it's weird because here I kind of know what I'm doing, but then again I don't. And because of the walk cycles I did so far, that we all were all done. And still like this one. Something is dragging here. Do we have twice the same drawing here? We do. This one here. Or were they just too similar? No, I don't think so. He seems heavy, and I kind of like that. Now let's see with the is this the one? Let's try the head. Maybe we can get in already some kind of a design. Here the head continues the movement up. And the body starts to move down. Let's try to push this. Oh, no, that. This could be looped. Already. Okay. See if this works. All right. Whatever this guy is gonna look like later on, but I don't know, but the dynamics are quite alright here. Something with the arms here though is what I'm not. There's something I don't. Like here, he starts to move his arms like that, but I feel he should be more like this. Did we save that? Okay. Two. Okay. So, okay, let's tackle those arms. Maybe I duplicate this layer just in case I don't like where this is going. So here now you see that it kind of is all right, but I think I want the hand to go onto this direction. Yeah, better. Okay, now let's work on those legs. As I'm already studying those things lately, let's do them a little bit more justice. And then later on, I think I'm gonna work as well on the body and give it a little bit more extreme chest and reshape the whole thing a little bit, but once at a time. So the legs, let's bring those legs down here. I think I need the body to be as well a little bit. So those are the legs number 2. So I'm gonna do this fairly. Still haven't studied the feet. This is definitely a thing that will come later on. Where are we? Yeah, I don't know. Like looking at this pelvis, I don't know if we should already redesign the whole thing. No, we can try. I'll do another copy. And let's get all those in a folder. Bring everything back up, and then we're gonna lower the opacity on the whole folder. And let's see if this is a good idea. And I think I would like to have a see how far we want to push this. So our legs would kind of start here. Still not really sure how the feet will look like, because I always tend to do this cartoony thing, but now with this more detailed anatomy, they look a bit weird. And the head, hmm, I don't know, I still feel like I want to keep it open with the design of the head. Just gonna bring in this line here too. Oh, Greta is ignoring my shortcuts. Oh. Feel like my feet are a little bit too they're not I say consistent. Still vary a bit. Okay. So here comes the chest. This is he's obviously here. It's stretched, but it looks a little bit. This part here. No, don't know. We're gonna see. All right, see you, John. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Now here, I think the chest. Needs some squash. Here, pelvis as well. Mm-hmm. our initial body shape is bit by bit it's causing some trouble. Let's bring this even. I want to still want to see those lines from our first sketch because it kind of ties everything a little bit more together. You can, well, it doesn't look too bad. The forearms, still a little bit too. Not really too confident on the anatomy of the forearms till now. That's why I keep them quite loose. What I found very, very interesting while learning the anatomy of the legs is that our ankles are on a different height on the inner side and on the outer side, and I didn't know that. And that is because of the two bones we have on our shin. Well, not the like the lower part of the leg. Those are two bones. Each bone is one ankle and they are not visible at the same height. So if you have the leg, like the outer ankle is here, no, on the other way around, they're kind of like very slightly shifted. Found that very interesting, though it's not really applicable here. And I started with the Alan Blaze's anatomy class that I mentioned on earlier streams, but also went to other resources like books to refine some of the stuff that he mentions, because he's not going too much into detail, and I kind of found it super interesting and wanted to get a little bit more information on the topic. And heard about, while researching, came across the name of George Bridgman, which seems very interesting, and he basically explains anatomy in very bulky shapes. And still starting to watch his studies on anatomy or his teachings on anatomy. It's quite difficult to read his drawings because it's not too obvious what the message he gets across each drawing, because he focuses on specific parts. And apparently those drawings were never meant to be in a book. Apparently those were just photos of his students that took photos of his class. And I actually, to be honest, I heard about him yesterday, so I'm not really with the details of him, but it all, everything I saw so far seems like he's not teaching anymore, or sounded all kind of a past thing. Yeah, but apparently, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna get my anatomy studies from various sources and combine them and look whatever works best for me. Well, and although I have abandoned our last project with the diver on the plank, I started working on it today, and I already saw so many mistakes on the anatomy since I learned quite a lot of new things since I started the other animation, and I suppose that is a good reason to finish it as fast as possible, because it's gonna bug me, those little errors that I already see, but I feel like I don't want to get into those details and correct them, as it's already quite advanced, the animation, and changing those things would throw me quite back. So yeah, definitely wanna finish that as fast as possible. And here, well, I was just thinking about I kind of, after the diver, well, the diver was kind of an excuse to draw uh, mostly naked body to get this anatomy knowledge in in an exercise, and now we already have another mostly naked character. But I think we're gonna use this one as a kind of a mannequin and dress him. This now is just a first layer to make sure everything is in place, and obviously as well to practice. But I would say if we continue working on that one, I will definitely do some Get him some clothes. So now getting kind of sloppy here, but or well, there's some weird thing going on in his pelvis. It seems like when he's dragging down, he's quite packed down there, and which seems like this is dragging him down. So that would be something probably to be adjusted. Yeah, I don't know. Like this has been a nice experiment, but I don't think that it's worth continuing here. I would rather than finish our last animation. But who knows? Like I'm gonna save it for sure and see if this is worth putting in some extra time or thinking about some new stuff. Well, anyways, I think I'll leave it here for today. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll definitely gonna be streaming on Wednesday again, 2 p.m. So we're back on track here, and hope you like the stream. If you have the time on Wednesday, feel free to hop by, and yeah, consider hitting the subscribe button. I'm streaming on Twitch as well, YouTube, wherever you think is the best option for you. Subscribe, follow, leave a comment, whatever. So thanks a lot, and have a great day. Bye bye.